We are living in the middle of perhaps the greatest financial experiment in human history, and most people don't even realize it. Global debt has reached levels no civilization has ever carried before. Governments borrow trillions. Central banks create money with a single keystroke. Families sign 30-year mortgages as casually as grocery receipts. Corporations don't grow from productivity. They swell from leverage. And yet we still talk about debt as if it's normal. But debt has never been just an economic tool. It has always been power, control, and often the beginning of collapse. This story doesn't start today. Debt is as old as civilization itself. The earliest clay tablets found in Mesopotamia were not poetry. They were records of obligation. Who owed grain? Who owed cattle? Who must repay? Even then, debt wasn't merely financial. It defined social order. Priests and kings enforced it. But they also understood a crucial truth. When the burden grew too heavy, debts were wiped clean in grand jubilees. Because ancient rulers knew what modern leaders pretend to forget, you cannot enslave an entire population forever through obligations. At some point, the system breaks. Centuries passed. The stage shifted, banking families rose in Florence. Debt evolved from grain to gold to credit. Kings financed wars through borrowing. Empires expanded on promises. And the result? Spain, despite rivers of silver from the New World, declared bankruptcy 4 times in the 16th century. Because ambition outran reality. Debt had become geopolitical. It toppled kingdoms and redrew maps. By the 20th century, the cycle spiraled out of control. After World War I, nations were buried under obligations. Germany, crushed by reparations, printed money to survive. People pushed wheelbarrows of cash to buy bread. Debt became the fuel of chaos. Then 1944. Bretton Woods, the birth of the modern financial order. The dollar was tied to gold. The world tied itself to the dollar. Stability depended on discipline, but discipline didn't last. War spending and domestic programs pushed the U.S. to print more dollars than it had gold. Foreign governments demanded redemption. In 1971, the gold link was severed. That was the turning point. Debt became infinite. No gold, no limits, only trust. Central banks discovered the new lever. Lower rates leads to expand borrowing. Crisis hits leads to create even more debt to rescue the system. Each bailout required greater leverage than the last. The 1980s exploded with public debt. Latin America collapsed under borrowed growth. Same cycle, rise on credit, fall on repayment. By 2008, the system had turned into a pyramid of debt stacked upon debt. Mortgages packaged, sold, insured, multiplied through leverage. One crack shook the world. Banks were saved. Ordinary people paid. Debt revealed itself as a system designed to protect power. And since then, the scale has only grown more surreal. By 2023, global debt surpassed $300 trillion, nearly 4 times global GDP. Japan's debt crossed 200% of GDP. The U.S. adds trillions yearly. China hides massive local liabilities. The entire system now rests on one illusion. Debt can grow forever. History says otherwise. Debt ends only 3 ways. You repay it, you inflate it away, or you default. There is no fourth ending. Today's danger is that debt has become invisible. Governments borrow in your name without asking. Credit cards feel like spending, but they're loans. Corporate profits are often fueled by leverage. Leverage feels weightless going up and crushing coming down. And the clearest warning sits at the center, the United States. $34 trillion in debt. Interest payments nearing defense spending. Borrowing to pay interest on past borrowing. This is historically the final stage. The question isn't whether a reckoning comes, it's how. Inflation is the most politically convenient path. Devalue the currency. Shrink the burden. But who pays? Savers, workers, ordinary citizens. The powerful are protected. The public absorbs the loss. Understanding debt isn't financial education, it's survival. Real wealth isn't paper promises. It's what holds value across cycles, knowledge, awareness, the ability to recognize repeating patterns. Because the pattern never changes, debt grows, leaders deny, the system cracks, reset follows. History has shown this over and over again. Only the scale changes. If you study history, you don't have to predict the future. You'll already recognize it when it arrives. Subscribe to The Money Historian for more insights into the hidden mechanics behind money and power. Currencies change, systems collapse, but history always whispers the truth.